This is crazy how much dust picks up in my garage so fast. Just kind of cleaning up a little bit here before I get started for the day. Happy hump day, everyone. I started a little bit late down here today. Normally, this is something I do before I go live. Um, but I always like to start off with like a nice clean workstation, as clean as possible. My studio is in my garage and it gets, I don't know how because our garage is pretty well sealed, but somehow it is dusty as hell in here. And I have to dust off everything before I get moving every time I come down here. God, it's so dirty. Gotta reach across here. Wow. Look at that. That's just accumulation over like a week. It's in a spot that I don't clean it really well every single time I clean, but I mean, damn. Slowly but surely, I'm making more upgrades to this studio in here. There's only so much I can do, though. Only so much I can do. Either way, nobody's in the chat. You know, if you're watching this later, nobody's in the chat right now, so kind of gives people a chance to get settled and get on. But I'm hoping everybody is having an awesome Tuesday. Or Wednesday. Fuck. I don't even know what day it is. It's Wednesday. I'll take this chance to do a little brush inventory here and get rid of some stuff I don't need, because it's getting a little cray in here. And that's my brush I use. I'm gonna wind up not throwing any of these away. Just checking the brush's integrity and whether or not I'll keep using it. That one's good. For this one, I need to clean off because it's still got some blue paint on it. Could be permanent, but we'll give it a little soak for a bit. Stick it through the dry brush cleaner. That helps. These little sponges help get like old paint off your brush pretty well. It's just basically like a little, use it as like a little scrub pad. It's giving off a little bit of blue, but it's not too bad. It's looking a little better. I could use some alcohol maybe to get it looking a little better. Bah! Hi and bye. Saw somebody just jumped in and then jumped out really quick. Thanks for stopping by. Even this raggedy little brush, I have things I can use this for. This brush I think I used for, yeah, that's got latex in it, so that's gonna go. Yeah, that one's gone. Yeah, that one's gone. It's about time to replace this sponge. I think I got this little dry brush kit thing at like Michael's or something. Almost threw that brush away. That's a perfectly good brush. Let that one soak for a few. Brush care is pretty important if you care about your brushes. I care about my brushes, but sometimes I'm really bad about taking care of them. I let some paint dry at the tip of this guy, so a little bit of 91% alcohol in a cup, and that gets it loosened up pretty good. Give it a quick little rinse in some water, and hopefully all of our bristles will be free. Yeah, that feels good. And that looks good. That one's good. This little guy could use an alcohol bath. And pretty soon we'll start getting started on Mara Jade here. Luke Skywalker's hottie wife. But how you doing? How's everybody doing today? Hopefully well. If you're watching this later, you can leave a comment in the chat or in the comments section. And if you're watching now, feel free to leave a comment. Hit the like button. Hit that beautiful like button if you don't mind. And if it's your first time here, feel free to hit the subscribe button. Crack open a beer, a glass of wine, water, whatever you do. Light up a cigar, don't light anything, and just hang out with us for a while, which is what we do here. Just hanging out in the studio and playing around with some art projects. More alcohol. I really neglected this brush, but it's already coming back to life with just a quick bath and some alcohol. That's better. This dry brush is looking much, much better now. Another quick little alcohol bath for this guy. And we're just about done. You tend to accumulate a lot of brushes when you're doing this hobby. And this isn't even close to all the shit that I have. So far, very quiet in the chat today, even though we're almost 20 minutes in. And who knows, maybe we're just going to have a nice quiet chat today. We'll see what happens. Oh, this one's really, really grungy. Really grungy. This one's gonna take just a little bit more rehab. Just let that soak for a minute. Ugh. I think it's nasty. God, I don't know how I let so much shit build up on that dry brush. Don't know what to do with this shit. This is airbrush lube, and I don't generally use it, so I think I'm just gonna put it up on my project shelf. And there it shall reside until I don't use it again. I'm gonna cut this key off right here so I can better access these supports inside, because I want to see what I'm dealing with to get the wiring up through her arm. I'm actually also reprinting this section, so let's have a look inside and see exactly what we're dealing with on this one. I actually used a pre-supported version for this print, and now I'm reprinting it in a version that I did all the supports myself with. All right, that should give me something to pull on. basically we want to remove these internal supports from the inside so that we've got an easy channel to get the wiring through for the lightsaber. So I'm just carefully excavating this crap. Get like a little I'm going to be using chrome today. I need like a little wall clamp that I can just stick this on. Ah, 8 stops away. Cool. Okay. I don't always use pre-supported files to print with, but when I do, this kind of shit happens. And I'm not knocking Abe3D's pre-supported files. They're actually fantastic. I'm just saying I don't normally use pre-supported files because I like to do it myself to make sure that I'm not going to lose detail somewhere where I don't want to. But to be fair, Abe3D kind of thinks about all that stuff apparently, because his pre-supports are really, really good compared to a lot of other 3D model makers out there. And again, I'm just getting these all out so that I can more easily run the wiring for the lightsaber. So you notice while I'm pulling these out, also little thing for myself with my post-production work, post-prep work. All these supports are dry. They're not wet. They don't have any uh, resin that hasn't been exposed to UV light on the inside. So that tells you that I took my, after I washed and cured everything, I still took my UV lamp, my little pen light, and stuck it inside, got that light inside that model to make sure that all the resin was cured so that we didn't have any explosions or resin leaking or anything like that. And that's how you should do your models, is make sure you get that UV light way down inside there and make sure that everything's exposed and cured properly so you don't have any problems in the future. I've heard and seen some pretty crazy horror stories with resin printed models like exploding and leaking resin everywhere. And you just don't do that. You don't want to do that. So point being is, you see me pulling all these supports out, and the fact that they don't have any unexposed resin on them means that I did a good job with, if I don't mind patting myself on the back, it just means I did a good job with my post-prep work. And I sell 3D prints too, so I always want to make sure everything's cured properly. Man, chat is dead today. I don't know what's going on. Where's all my regulars and everybody else? People got things to do. That feels pretty good. Leave that. This is actually cleaning up so nicely on the inside. I may not have needed to reprint the torso. I'm gonna cut this key off to see how easily the wiring is going to be able to get up through her torso and down her arm for the lightsaber. So I'm going to just do that off camera. So now I just want to test this key and make sure that the gauntlet's going to fit over the arm and you won't be able to see anything, any of my cuts. Which reminds me, I'm also going to have to get the gauntlet hollowed out. I'm going to have to get a hole in there. Oh, it's got a hole. Okay, never mind. Yeah, that'll work. Yeah, so I'll be able to get the wiring up through. In fact, I'm just going to get a piece of test wire. Well, I guess I could just use this. Got some wire right here. We're going to test it and make sure we can get through the whole length. Be easier if I just twist these together. Everybody stopping by the channel today is very in and out. Makes me feel like maybe they thought I was doing something else when they clicked on it. So I think the easiest way to do this is bring it all the way up and through. And then we got to try and come back down the other side and get these guys through the arm. So we're going to want this nice and tight. That way it's not snagging. And just to find that sweet spot where the wire goes, well, I think I can make this even easier on myself just by boring out that hole a little bit. Again, I'll just do this slightly off camera so we can here we go. Now we got a nice good sized hole that we can run this through. All the way out, up and out. There we go. that's funny. I was boring this hole out a little bit, and the bit got stuck inside the piece. Nice. Cheap, cheap, cheap shit, I guess. Ah, got it. Cool. Okay, that one's going in the trash. All right. Now we should be able to get through that. The holes inside are slightly offset, so you got to kind of weave it through. All right. Okay, cool. Okay, so now we know that we can get the wiring through for the lightsaber. This isn't how I'll have it rigged up. This is I got to actually have the wires get through this part as well. They're going to come up here, an outer arm. So I've got to excavate this whole left side real carefully. We can do that later. Basically, this means that we can go ahead and paint the other part. I scuffed her shirt right here, but I'm thinking I can just call that like, it'll just, it'll be part of the weathering on the shirt. So this is cool. We'll set this aside. This is cool. We'll set that aside as being ready. And then eventually we're going to have to start drilling a hole through the hand, because that wiring that comes out of the gauntlet has to get through her hand and then up the lightsaber. So I have to drill a hole down through here real carefully and then excavate enough resin out, because this is printed solid. So I'll have to excavate it in this way to get that channel for the lightsaber. But that's totally doable, not difficult. And we're good there. And now we're going to move on to painting. Yay! Get going on finishing up this belt and touching up some of the areas around the edges here. Thanks for hitting that like button. Trying to go for at least 5 likes today. That'd be cool. I don't know why the chat's really slow. I guess everybody's busy today, and that's all. That's quite all right. Okay, just doing some touch-ups here. Hey, Jen, what's going on, girl? Finally, somebody jumps in. Almost an hour after I started, not nobody. I was getting lonely. I'm never lonely when I'm by myself, though. I'm just kidding. Long day, huh? Yeah, what happened? Hopefully everything's doing okay. How's the folks doing? Yeah. How's Dad doing? Having a rough minute? I mean, if you don't mind sharing or me asking, of course. Totally understandable if you don't care to share. Oh, he's doing radiation. Ugh. I think that's exhausting for everyone, not to take away from your dad's experience, but yeah, it's a very good friend of mine's going through that right now, and I can't imagine. It's got to be just absolutely exhausting for lack of any other. better term. We'll send him my well wishes and let him know I'm thinking about him and hoping he's feeling better shortly. Halfway. Okay, good. Well, we will be celebrating when he's done with that trial. Came in late a little bit here. Yes, we definitely will. Um, I ran the wiring up. So just to catch you up to speed, I got the key cut off of the bottom of the torso, and then excavated all the internal supports out of it, and then I cut a big hole up in here, which I haven't checked yet actually. I need to recheck that just to make sure that my excavations won't show up anywhere. All right, we're clean. Looks good. Cool. And this little excavation and getting all the internal supports out was to allow me to get the wiring up through the inside and then down her arm. Hey, there's Gambit. So you can see we've got a nice channel going through her arm. And then I got her gauntlet is clear, so I can get the wiring up through there. And now I'm just touching up some paint around her lower portion, and I'm gonna have to excavate left side. Same thing on this piece, excavating just a slightly bigger hole, or I may just be able to get it from here, but I've got to cut this key out and then pull all the supports out so we can get the wiring up through. And then I got to do the same thing with the other two sections, her knee and the boot, to get the wiring up through it. So we're getting there. Got part of the wiring done. Oh, and I did order the correct size for the LED noodle that's going to be going in for the lightsaber. So that's on its way. I think they said expedited shipping on this one too, so it may not take very long to get here. I actually ended up printing another torso today, in which I hollowed it out myself. I did all the supports myself, and then for drainage holes, I just basically carved out like a whole section right here in my print. Same with the arm and the bottom. And now that I've got this all excavated, I'm like, okay, I really didn't need that other print. But what the hell, we're printing another piece anyway, so if I do fuck up anything, at least on the torso, I can reprint it, or I already have a piece printed. That's what I'm trying to say. How was your day, Gambit? Welcome to the chat. Thanks for stopping by, dude. Always an honor and a pleasure. Gambit Neo is in the house, everyone. Go check out his channel sometime if you haven't already. Dude's got some awesome content. Don't do it now. I want you to stay in my chat for now because he's not live streaming or anything. But you can check out his channel later. You guys are mine right now. Still busy with cable? Dude, that cable is looking awesome. Guys, Gambit Neo is doing a 3D printed cable right now that just looks insane. Highly recommend checking that out when you get a chance. So right now I'm just kind of cleaning up these edges and adding a slightly darker shadow underneath the belt here. I like that. A little more shadow here underneath these little utility pouches. It's very subtle, but it is a shadow nevertheless. Are you working on cable right now as we speak? It's still infuriating to me that we can't share pictures and stuff while we're live streaming. Like I want to see it right now. I want my subscribers to see it while we're hanging out in the chat and chatting. Cool. All right. Happy with that. Gambit, I am totally on board with that. I'm working on it. However, my my thing is unfortunately it's about money right now. In order for me to do Discord group uh, with like a live streaming group build, which I very much want to do, um, I would absolutely love to have it where we have a split screen and you know you can live stream with me and vice versa. Um, and if other people want to join in the chat and showcase their work and stuff, like we'll be able to do split windows and have, multiple multiple windows with live streamers. You guys can join me through Discord. I totally want to do that, but it's going to cost me money to set up a laptop down here. If I'm going to do it, I got to do it right, and it's going to cost me some money to set up a laptop and get Discord running. I'd like to get a Stream Deck so that I'd like to get a Stream Deck, which those are relatively inexpensive. It's the laptop part that's going to hurt me a little bit financially. But I may have a solution to that as well. my wife has a laptop upstairs in our office that she doesn't use, and I've got to turn it on and just check it out and see. Um, I just want to check it out and see if if it's working, if it's fast enough to deal with Discord and all that fun business. And if the laptop, as a matter of fact, I'm gonna just fucking do this tonight when I go back upstairs. Um, I'll just check on the laptop and see if everything's working. And if everything's working on it well and I can get it moving, I'll get it set up. I'll work on getting us a stream deck. Um, Maybe we could have like, unless Jerry wants to join in with it. Jerry's mentioned before Grumpy Vet Creations. He's usually one of the regulars here. He's mentioned before that he would happy to moderate. He'd be happy to moderate um, a live stream. So as long as he's still in with that, we would have a moderator. And yeah, so I've got part of this already kind of thought out. But I think that would be a lot of fun, and I would absolutely love to get you in on it and, you know, um, have a live stream through Discord with Gambit Neo, myself, Jen. Absolutely, you're 100% invited if you want to join in. We'd love to have you uh, showing your work while we work together on the channel. I mean, how does something like that sound to you, Gambit? I mean, I haven't really talked to you about it yet. We kind of mentioned it the other day when we were talking on the phone, but I don't know. What do you think, dude? We can kind of chat about it right now. If you're working on cable right now, though, I know your hands aren't necessarily free to type and stuff, but that's fine. Take your time answering. But I think we should totally do something like that. Especially if the time frame that I actually live stream works out for you, Gambit. Like, that's two of us that are in. I think it sounds really fun. You know, I know Gambit is what, 9 hours ahead of me, 8 hours ahead of me. Definitely awesome. I love hearing that. And Jerry's really savvy about this kind of stuff too. He's a tech guy, so Jerry'd probably be a big help in getting this set up. I don't know the first fucking thing about Discord. Um, so I'll be on a little bit of a learning curve with that. This little edge right here is really bugging me. I think it would be a friggin' blast. I'm always wanting to figure out better ways to get more interaction with my subscribers, and I think it'd be really cool if we opened up like a group build. I watched the guys over at Gambit. I think I've mentioned them to you before too. Hobby Time Modelers. I love watching their channel. Um, they get all these different live streams and stuff. I keep putting my paint away and I keep finding spots I missed. Um, and that's exactly what they do. You know, they have group builds where, you know, there's multiple channels open and guys like Jody from Trek Mods and everybody are on there, and it's just really fun watching everybody engage with the chat and with each other while they're painting and building their models, and you know, everybody's doing something different, you know, and that's how I want to do it. Is you know, no matter what your hobby is, you know, if you're building a model, if you're doing Legos, I don't care. Like I just think it'd be cool to have an open channel where we can share our hobbies and build together. Not to steal from Hobby Time modelers, that's absolutely where I got a lot of the inspiration to do it. So I give them 100% credit on that. But I want to do it too. I think it'd be really cool. Those guys have invited me to build with them as well, um, which I'm honored that they give me the invitation to join up with their group builds and stuff. Um, but you know, ultimately, I'd really like to do it on my own, have my own group build. I'd like it mostly centered on 3D printing and painting and stuff, but I'm okay if, you know, we have other people doing different hobbies. I'm totally fine with that. I don't want to I don't want to exclude anybody, you know? Cool. So now I just want to do some really light dry brushing for some edge highlighting around the belt. And then we're going to be ready to put the metal parts on and get that going. I've decided on chrome. I'm going to do chrome bits because uh, I mean, copper might look okay too, but I just feel like a brown based metal, you know, where it's like copper or brass or something, is gonna just blend a little too much with the coloration of the leather on the belt. So I think chrome is gonna be the better option between those choices. If I knew how to do a poll right now, I would take a poll just for fun. Granted, I think we only have 4 people in the chat right now, so it wouldn't be a very responded, a well responded poll. But um, who's in? Who would want to do like a Discord group build? Jen, would you want to do something like that? I mean, you literally just need a phone. If you have a separate camera that you can film with, what would get lost? The metal bits would get lost in here. Is that what you mean? Or I'm not sure. Um, Now I'm looking for the right color. The brass, yeah, I agree. That's the feeling I had about it. More gassed bone. I think that would be good. Or Toleran sand for a highlight. Trying to find a really good highlight color. Ooh, this stuff is really separated. Wow. I almost feel like the bone would be a better highlight color. What is my opinion on solid prints? Um, well, my opinion is based in fact, and that's a good question. Let me think about that for a second. What is my opinion in solid prints? Well, I'm just gonna riff off the top of my head. For I think it's fantastic for parts like this, which this piece is predominantly hollow. If in fact, if I'm gonna reprint anything, I should reprint this hand with the lightsaber because it's gonna make it that much easier for me to actually get the wiring up through it. Now that I'm thinking about it, so I'm gonna do that. But this piece is printed solid, and that's great if you don't plan on running wiring through it. Um, it's I mean, it's not necessary, but I really can't. It it helps add some weight to your model for one. Um, if you have several solid pieces printed on the model, like her head, the hands, maybe the gauntlets, this wasn't necessary to print hollow, but it is hollow. Um, and obviously, if you're gonna, again, anything you're running wire through it, you definitely want it hollow so that you can get your wiring through it. Um, but it also provides some problems in the printing process, which I have to address as well. I think Gambit would be a good candidate to agree or disagree with me on this too. When you're printing something in solid, it's easier to get a layer shift to occur because it's heavy. Um, it, it can also contribute to creating suction on the FEP sheet, the release film. Um, it's more difficult to get it to print evenly and perfectly when it's solid because of the weight and the possibility of suction. And if you have any kind of suction on during the printing process, it's going to pull up that release film. I'm trying to think of a way I could illustrate it. So, like, let's say, trying to illustrate this. Okay, so you can see this pad here. Let's pretend this pad is a release film. This is my print head, and it's got a solid piece that it's building. Well, what'll happen is it can create suction. So when the build plate lowers back down into the resin to print the next layer, it's got to print that it sticks down onto the release film, right? And then the UV light underneath it shines up and exposes that layer, and then the head has to pull off of it. The head has to pull off of it, and it can pull your release film up like that. That's actually a really good way to illustrate it. So when it pulls up on that release film, and then it finally releases it, you could have a layer shift because it's pulling on that resin, and the resin's still wet. It's not cured yet, so it's got a little bit of flex to it, and just the very slightest bit of flex and suction and all that stuff combined can give you a layer shift or even a catastrophic print failure. Um, so when printing something solid, you definitely want it to be smaller pieces. Um, like you absolutely would not want to print something like this solid. That's also going to be extremely expensive. That's going to be a really, really expensive fucking print, which is another point to to simultaneously bring up or spontaneously bring up is that the more solid pieces you have in your print, the more expensive your print gets exponentially. So those are really my that would be my opinion, on printing solid. But don't get me wrong, I print a lot of parts in solid. I print heads. Sometimes I'll print heads in solid, and I'm always crossing my fingers and I'm not praying because I'm an atheist, but I mean I'm praying that the print's going to come out perfectly on the first try. Um, okay, I explained it perfectly. Thank you, Gambit. Appreciate the support on that. So that's my 2 cents on printing solid. Um, but again, yeah, exactly. You can fill it with two-part epoxy resin. There's ways around that. I really like that idea. I've honestly thought of doing that, but never went for it. How did that work out for you, filling it with a epoxy resin? That's a really good idea. I've heard that idea before. I've just never done it. And epoxy resins, I mean, that's pretty cheap, right? I've never really played around with resin too much. This paint is so fucking separated. I gotta mix the shit out of it. I should probably put an agitator in here, actually. Get my little jar of agitators out. Help this paint along. Oh, that's another good point. Yeah, if you're printing solid pieces, they're heavier, so that's going to make it more expensive to ship your print as well. Made the sculpt heavy. Okay. Oh, okay. That's your point in the heaviness for shipping. It's going to make it more expensive. That makes a lot of sense. I didn't. I never even thought of that. Boy, that shit is really. I'm just going to have to mix that for a while. In the meantime, I think this should work just fine for a highlight. I may not even like the highlight once I put it on. Okay, that actually looks really nice. All right, I'm gonna run with that. Want the edges to look a little more worn and handled on the bags, and by adding a little edge highlight here and there, it's lending to that nicely. So just just so you know, I'm holding this a certain way. For anybody that doesn't know this, I'm holding this a certain way because I don't want the dry brush to go past the belt and accidentally get on her pants. So by having my thumb there, it provides a stopping point. Let me catch up with the chat here again, real quick. Sorry, guys. Do you prefer? Okay, epoxy resin. I was wondering if it's better to print solid or fill it. Fill it in. Did print solid, but I gave up too much layer shift. Not worth it. Still printing solid, but only small pieces. Yep. When you hollow, make sure your walls are not too thin. The print can collapse or break after. Agreed. I usually print mine no more than 1.5 millimeters in thickness for my walls. Sometimes 2 millimeter thickness. I have a print that I thought I would make my first attempt at lighting, and when I pulled it out, it was solid and never noticed. Okay. Torso is hollow and everything else is solid. Okay. Wow. Yeah, I second that. Wow, that's impressive. Probably a nice heavy piece though. Like when you lift up the piece when it's done, it's gonna feel nice in your hands. You know, which a lot of people like. It's grown all the same. I like that. 2.10 millimeter thickness with infill structure. It's 98% successful. Excellent. That yeah. I'm usually a 2.0 millimeter. That's my happy spot. Everybody's a little different. As long as your prints are coming out good, that's all that matters. It's not necessarily that something should have happened in that time. Solid prints, you don't have to worry about resin being on the inside because every single layer has been cured essentially as it goes through the process. The only thing that's not really cured is the outer walls of the print, um, and that's simple as putting it out in the sun or putting it in a curing station. but the inside of the model is already cured during the actual printing process. It's only the outside that wouldn't be cured. Just the inside's cured as it's going through the printing process, because that's how you print it. Alrighty. Oh, this is still pretty separated. I'll just need some handshaking. Duly noted, whenever you're using Talisar Sand Air Paint by Citadel, make sure you mix the shit out of this before you use it. All right. The belt buckle I'm going to do in dark aluminum. Going to try to imitate Beskar as best I can. The fictional make-believe metal called Beskar that the Mandalorians are known for. Oh, I got paint all over my hand. Opening that up. Gonna make sure I clean that up really well so it doesn't get on anything I touch. If I was wearing gloves, I'd just take that glove off and put another glove on. But alas, I am not wearing gloves. Did I put that damn brush away? That might come in handy. You primed that print today, no lines anywhere. That's always good. Scheisse. Oh, I didn't spill anything, so that's good. This is gonna have to move, bro. Jesus Christ. Beskar metal is really cool. It's got like, you know, kind of a dark aluminum look to it, which is the paint that I'm using right now is Vallejo's dark aluminum. And then it's got like these black stripes through it, kind of like tiger stripes. And I want to try and imitate that with this belt buckle as best I can. And I have an idea to make it work. I just don't know if I'll be able to. I don't know if it'll actually work. All right. So my solution to my attempt to make the belt buckle look like it's made out of Beskar metal is going to be using some panel liner and just painting the little stripes on with it. feel like it's too transparent. I got another idea. Okay, I don't like that, but I think I'm on the right track. All part of the process. You got to experiment with stuff and figure it out. Well, since I have this paint here right now, we'll go ahead and just finish up these buttons. The dark aluminum is actually perfect for this spot, for this part. I think that looks good. I did renew my membership to Abe3D Studios, finally. Got all quiet in here. Sorry, sorry I'm so quiet. I'm like concentrating on these really small bits for the belt. And if I'm talking, I'm not as steady when I'm talking. Alright, just gotta finish this buckle on her, on the front part of her belt. See a little tiny spot on the belt that I missed with the leather color. I'm gonna have to fix that. You were looking. We're all concentrating on what you're doing. It's like I tell everybody when I talk about my channel to someone, like, I always qualify it by saying it's really boring shit if it's not something that you're into. If you're into it, you can watch this shit for hours like I do. I'll sit for hours and watch somebody else paint. Oh, the metal workings on her belt, I'm really happy with. I think that looks awesome. A couple tiny little more spots. I'm extremely detail oriented, as I think most of you guys are, obviously. Um, for those of you that still have young eyes, I envy you for being able to do this kind of detail work on a model without putting these fucking monsters on, because they're extremely uncomfortable. But for myself, a very necessary evil. Yeah, for getting this kind of detail work done, I gotta have the magnifiers on. And I'm that anal about having it look perfect that, I gotta have the magnifiers on. Ugh, I hate these things though. Now let's try and paint some Beskar stripey shit. I don't know, what do you guys think? Oh, mixing metallic colors is super fun. I really like I really enjoyed Vallejo's metal colors. Um, this is the chrome and the dark aluminum. I highly suggest looking into this set. They mix together really, really nicely, and they look amazing when you play around with them together. I don't know, I kind of feel like that achieved a somewhat Beskarian look. What do you guys think? Or does it look cheesy? Should it just be metal, or maybe even a copper in the center? Could do a copper in the middle, or copper around the edge, or just all metal, dark aluminum. What do you guys think? How does that look to you? Help me decide. I'll let you guys contribute to it. All I know is I want to take these fucking things off for a minute. Put my normal glasses back on. All right, Gambit. You guys have a good night, man. Thank you. Thank you. I'll have to start earlier if we start doing the Discord server thing. I got to get off pretty soon too. I just want to finish up these metal bits. Not cheesy. Lines don't look very dark from here. Okay, I don't know. I think I'll sit on it for a couple days and see how I feel about it. And then in the meantime, I think I'm gonna just zap this with some flat clear real quick and call it a day on that. Get this sealed. I mean, it looks cool on my end. I like it. The metal parts especially look nice. You know, adds a ton of detail to it. I don't know if this is going to hold up now because I don't have that key on the bottom. Yeah, the cape wants to pull it off. Let some good old liquid talent fill in the gaps and add the contrast. I think that's looking pretty sweet. Yeah, I'm really on the fence about the stripes on the belt. I feel like it's just too contrived. There, fixed it. Get rid of it. Yeah, that's what I wound up deciding to do. Really digging how that dark aluminum catches the glint of the light. This portion of weathering on the pants, I'm not feeling it. I'm gonna go over that. It just needs to be more subdued. I think I'll just do a real light dry brushing with a darker color on it, just to subdue it a bit. I think then I'll be happy with it. The rest of it, I'm fine. It's very subtle, but I feel like that part stands out too much, so I'm gonna fix that. You didn't want to mention it. Well, sometimes when I do stuff, I gotta sit on it for a couple of days and look at it, and my eyes just keep going to it too much. Um, so it's got to go. I just want to knock it down a little bit. Okay, let's see here. And no, you absolutely mention it. How dare you? No, you wouldn't have been wrong. I just had to sit on it for a couple of days and stare at it and let it bother me. I'm slowly gravitating towards a more kind of pristine outfit with her anyways. There. Much better. Yeah, much, much better. I like that. I like that better. Looked like the brush slipped. Yeah, I was feeling that too. I didn't like it. Like the other parts of weathering that I got on here are really subtle, just little teeny tiny scratches, but that one over here was just too much. I didn't like it. You're not wrong. And no, it didn't really look okay to me. It did at first, but after looking at it more for the rest of the last couple of days when I come in and out of the studio, I'm like, yeah, I don't like it. Do I ever look for reference? Oh, yeah, absolutely. I'm going off of a reference photo. The main reference for this one is the actual render that Abe3D did for this print. I really liked the way it looked. I expound upon a few things here and there on my own, but um, that is the main reference for this model. That's my favorite part. The lava glow is just so badass. Oh, yeah. For leather, yes. Yeah, I do look to worn leather reference photos. To be fair, I've looked at so many different pictures of worn leather that I kind of wing it at this point based on, like, I kind of mix it up. I use a lot of different methods and shit. And for this particular model, when it comes to getting the leather that I'm achieving on this one, I'm kind of winging it. I'm just going with what I feel like looks good on this color scheme for her outfit. Like this edge highlight's also bothering me. I'm gonna end up going over that too. It's it just needs to be narrowed out. It's too broad and too bold for compared to the edge highlighting on the rest of the parts. I'm really happy with the edge highlighting up here, but not this part right here. So that'll get changed around. Now this edge right here, it may not be showing up on camera as much. It's a bit much. Even though this part of the model isn't really what you're looking at. But yeah, the only two things I need to fix is a very, very minor discoloration right here where I tried to fix the smudge. I'm gonna just tape that off and airbrush over it, probably, or just dry brush it. And then I'm gonna fix this edge, and that's it. And then this section is done, and then all I need to do is excavate out of this whole leg needs to be excavated for, I got to get the supports out so I can get the wiring up through it. And then I'll be 95% done with the wiring, and then I just got to do the hand, which I think I'm gonna definitely gonna reprint the hand and hollow it out and work with it so that I can literally just drill a little hole in it and it'll be ready for the wiring to come through. Anyhow, not to be abrupt or anything, but I am out of time for the day. It's time for me to roll, ladies and gentlemen. Thanks everyone for stopping by today. I really appreciate it. Jen, much love to you and your dad, everyone in the family. I hope your dad's feeling a lot better, a lot sooner than later. I really hope he's going to be doing much better after these sessions. And thanks to Gambit Neo for stopping by. Always a pleasure, always an honor. It's an honor for me to have all of you. I'm just absolutely honored that you guys stop by and hang out with me while I'm live streaming and doing my thing. I can't thank you guys all enough for your support and 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 your presence. Really, really, really means a lot to me. um, One last bit of news. I did get the final upgrade finished for my wash and cure station. My other wash basin uh, has come in. It's the one that fits the wash and cure station 3 by Anycubic. I got two more tubs. So one tub I'm going to have dirty resin in. The other one's going to have simple green in it. I call it the Kenny method over at Hobby Link International. I got this from Kenny. So we're going to have dirty resin, and then it's going to go for a bath in simple green. At least gray resin parts will. Green, you don't want to put clear resin parts like this. You don't want to wash these in simple green because apparently it will stain them. And then the final rinse, so it's a three-part rinse. The final rinse will be in clean alcohol. And then, of course, the inside and outside gets fully cured. And so I will have much higher quality prints than I already do available for sale. If anybody would like to acquire their own 3D printed model, if you can't, if you don't have your own 3D printer or you can't have one, you could certainly order 3D prints from me. And I'm slowly upgrading all of that as well, as far as the availability and what models I have available and things like that. Generally, I can print anything you want, though, as long as I have a file for it. I can print it out and ship it to you in the United States, as long as you pay for the resin and the shipping and a little bit of my time. You got a print on your way, a real high quality one that you can paint and do. You can order those now if you want. I'm pretty much ready to go. So any time is good. All right. Well, thanks again, everyone. I appreciate you. My name's Ron. I am the 3D painter, and don't forget to hit the like and subscribe button if you haven't already. And you're watching this later. Much love to you and yours. Have a nice day. Happy 3D printing. Happy painting. And I'll see you soon. Toodles.